Hey guys, welcome to Raja Makes Money. How are all my money makers doing today? And welcome everyone. And of course, after 8 days of all my astronauts on Gamestop being silent, welcome back, because I'm sure today they will all show up. Don't know where they've been the last 8 days, but welcome back, guys. Happy to have you. Also, if it's your first time ever watching Raja Makes Money, make sure you click on that subscribe button. Click that gray bell for notifications, because you're not going to want to miss when we go live. And if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you follow me and click on that little thumb up like button so you get notifications. But what a day. Another turbulent, crazy day in the market, to say the least. Just crazy, crazy, crazy. So last night, GameStop was trading up. Then this morning I was watching it at 2 o'clock my time when it starts trading. It was up like 14, 15 points, came all the way down, got as low as 116 today, and then just exploded. So the good news is, thank God I hedged it. And then throughout the day, I made some plays on my hedge all day long, and I actually didn't do too bad. And going into tomorrow, I feel pretty confident. I'm more worried if GameStop tanks tomorrow, then it could actually turn into a bigger mess. So lots of different stuff, and to be looking at and everything. But we're going to go over it all today, talk about it, plus Bitcoin plummeting again and some other stuff. But how do you guys like the new studio? We are live. Hopefully the audio, we still have to get the audio dialed in a little bit, but we are live in the new studio, so the sound should sound better. I got a nice background behind me. Hope you guys enjoy it, and appreciate you guys being on this ride with us since we started. And January 1st with $5 million. And right now we are up with our $5 million. We have, I don't even know how much we have. We have, that's why I was confused. I was looking at the wrong thing. We have like 5.7 million, somewhere in there. So it's been a wild ride this year. People say, like I said, it's been wild, to say the least. But we are surviving, we're doing good, and even with a little down day today, we're still up for the week. Hopefully we'll finish this week up. CCIV had a really nice comeback for us, but let's get right into it. Also, later on in the show today, we are going to discuss... there we go. We're going to discuss all this Capitol Hill stuff going on today with Twitter, Facebook, Google, all testifying. I've got a lot to say about that, and I'm sure you guys do also. I'm curious to get your opinions and stuff. But welcome, guys. So hopefully everything's just getting used to using everything in here today. But let's take a look. So we lost down 242,000 today. But my hedges are working. So I did several hedges today. We had the hedge going into last night that we did. That one made about $130,000. And then throughout the day, we hedged it a bunch more and picked up about another $300,000-$400,000. So while the main position today was down $900,000 and change, we actually picked up about $600,000 off of hedging it all day long, and we have another $200,000 or about 100. Well, not 200. 150,000 going into tomorrow. So I'm pretty confident. Like I said, no matter what, our hedges have actually outproduced, and I'm going to show you guys tomorrow too. If you look at where we started with this play, we've actually accomplished nothing in 3 weeks. We've made a little. Actually, we'll be a little ahead on it, but definitely not what we were hoping for. But based on how the market's been trading and everything else going on, if we were playing Apple or some of these other ones, you got to look at like ARK, Kathy Wood. I mean, she's down 30 or 20% this year, 30% this year. So we're still up, 15%. So I'm not complaining. I'm pretty happy, especially in these crazy markets. And everything's looking good. So, but yeah, let's go into it. So IDX today had a nice little bounce, came back a little bit. Still way down where we need it. Not worth writing calls against it yet. I wanted to get a little higher, or I'll wait another week or so, because those are only the monthlies. Jaguar was up today. This is just a wait and hold. Maybe if it goes down more, I'll buy some more. But as of right now, I'm just waiting and holding. CTYX, we were waiting for the news and the name change. Gold Rich was actually had a nice day today, up today. But still waiting on news on that one, but small position, not really affecting anything. CCIV exploded today, had a terrific day, had a nice comeback. I sold some of the stuff that the 100 calls at the 180. I sold, made some money on. The stuff I bought at I sold for $1. I bought back today, made some money on. The stuff I sold at 80 cents, I bought some of that back too and made money. So I wish that we would have averaged down more on this one. I mean, this thing today, and remember I said this thing's going to bottom out around 21. It hit 21 and came right back, on fire. So I still have some of my, we still have the $24 strikes, and I'm still playing a lot of the 24.50s in some of my other accounts. So I'm looking for more on that. So definitely be watching. But yeah, so let me show you guys all the stuff I did today to hedge and, to minimize my losses. And I know a lot of the astronauts out here watching and stuff don't understand how this hedge and everything works. Obviously, as an experienced trader, I'm not a millennial trader. So I'm not the guy who just decided to buy 1 share of stock, buy 5 shares of stock, maybe 100 shares of stock. It's terrific to get the more people in the market, playing the markets over time. That's going to be great. But those people have to understand that, memes, while memes can move a market or Wall Street bets or different things, long term, that's not going to work. The good thing for me is I've actually taken this time. I'm a gambler. I like to have fun. I'm also, if you guys watch, I'm not really, they're big bets and there's some big movement, but I'm not really concerned because a couple of things. One, like I always tell you guys, never play with what you don't want to lose because it's just like in the casino. If never play, scared money is never going to make money. Play with what is your money that you've put aside to hopefully turn into more, but it's not going to change your life. Two, I like to see stuff, and the only way to get better and learn stuff and how I've learned all my trading techniques, and we can pull up my record. I'm up, in the last and it's actually kind of crazy because I didn't trade for a while, and like on this one where I started trading after when the pandemic hit. I'm up over like $4 million in a 1-year period. So, and that's just in this account. So I'm not really too concerned about my trading ability, but you have to make plays and you have to do things to kind of, learn and how they all work. Same with CCIV was a learning curve, and this is a learning curve. The good news is when the next meme stock hits, or the next big one, or maybe it's GameStop again, if this thing goes to I called this thing a short at 348. It came all the way down to $115 today before it took off again. The problem that I have faced, and now I also know, is the market makers playing with the price of these puts. Normally, if a stock was $348 and you buy a put was $11 at the time, then when it dropped that day to the 170, and then closed around 200, 210, and before it bounced around, that put went up to like 19 bucks. Then it was like 16 when I got into it. And every day the stock came down 10, 20 points, and the market maker kept taking $1 away from that put with 3 weeks to go, 2 weeks to go. So it's very interesting. And like I said, it's very important to learn about all this stuff because it just makes you smarter when you're dealing with it, as well as figuring out what your next move is and how to do it and stuff. So, but yeah, let's go over what I did today. So CCIV, the 100 contracts I sold yesterday for $1.80. I bought back for $1.45, so $3,500 profit. Wish I would have waited a little longer. Could have made a lot more profit. 200 contracts that I sold for $1. I bought back at 65 cents. And 200 contracts that I sold at 80 cents, I bought back for 55 cents. So we still have 800 contracts live, or 600, how many? 600 or 800? 800 contracts. Yeah, still 800 contracts live. Of that one. So GameStop. So the first trade was, I wish I would put these in order. So the first trade yesterday, we hedged it with those $85 ones. In hindsight, if we knew it wasn't going to crash, I would have hedged it with the hundreds or the 110s, and it would have been huge. But we did the hundreds the 85s yesterday at $2.10, bought those back at 80 cents. Then, as the stock was moving, I did, and I saw it starting to go, I did these here, 115s, I did 600 contracts at $3.50. And then I did some 500 contracts of the 120s at $3.70. I didn't want to do it all. I think I remember this is when GameStop was like 137 or 147. It hadn't really taken off yet. And like I said, this thing can move. I'm concerned because, this thing could drop 50 points tomorrow. And then I have to reposition all this again and, do more and stuff and everything on it. So it's very interesting. So then we did the 120s, and then as it kept moving, then I rolled the 115s up to 125s because I felt we're 40, 50 points away. And, but like I said, we can get slammed on this because if all of a sudden this thing drops 80 points tomorrow, these things that we're selling for $3.70, trying to, hedge by $1, on 500 contracts or 600 contracts to make, this made us an extra $1.20 on 600 contracts, made me an extra $72,000, which is big. I mean, that's a lot of money. You want to take that money in, but if all of a sudden tomorrow this thing's $115, this little play all of a sudden is upside down. But I also know the 100 would go back to like $12, and I can also roll out next week. I mean, there's some more stuff to do to hedge it more if I had to. Ideal situation would be if GameStop just takes off tomorrow, so be it. All this stuff expires worthless, and then my 100s are probably going to sit at $2. I'll close them out, be done with it, and we'll be up tomorrow a little bit of money and call it good. And we actually made money on the trade. If you actually go back and I was going to go back and actually look the first day when I made this trade, how much the account balance was and where we're at now, and based on how much the market's down in the meantime. It's done really, really well. So not complaining. Then the next move I did, I rolled up the 120s to 125s. This wasn't a huge amount. It was only a 40-cent credit, but still on 500 contracts, it was an extra $20,000. And this is, like I said, GameStop at this time was around 150, maybe 160. It hadn't really just totally exploded. Then once it did explode, then I said, what is the risk? What makes the most sense? And what should I, to take? So I did 400 contracts of the 125s to 135s for 80 cents. So this picked up another like $37,000 or so. And then I did 125. This was a big move here. The 125s to the 140s on 200 contracts at $1.60. I thought about doing more of this because this is where I could have picked up a lot more money on, if I did, all the contracts, or I did 500,000 contracts, I could pick up 50, 60,000, 80,000 more dollars. But there's a huge risk. I mean, if this thing tomorrow, sitting at 180, I think tomorrow, I think it's going to come down tomorrow. I mean, who knows? It could go up, but like I said, it really doesn't matter to me. I just need it. I just hope it doesn't go below 140 or it becomes a whole another obstacle to deal with. But I will deal with it. The other thing I've been looking at too is I could let the stock get put to me and say, you know what? I'll take 20,000 shares at 140 because all my astronauts have told me how great of a stock this is, and it's going to go to $800 on the Giga play or whatever play it is. But the premiums on the call side, so if I did have to take 20,000 shares of this or more, the premiums at the strike price, if it was 140, 130, are like $30. So there's different ways to play this, and it's just figuring out which way works the best. Now let's talk about next week. So one thing next week is the end of the quarter. Interesting enough, the end of the quarter is on Wednesday. So a couple of things. So one is a short week next week, only 4 days because of Good Friday and Easter on the weekend. So Friday the markets are closed. So it's a short and trading week. What that means is but with Wednesday, we could see some window dressing. So what that means is sometimes they run stocks. Well, short weeks always seem to do good in the market, but also you can see that window dressing means they try and run some stocks up. So somebody like Kathy Woods, who's buried, she may try and, if she has some money on the sideline, she may put it to use and try and run a couple of stocks up, 5 or 10% really quickly, so that at the end of the quarter, her fund looks a lot better. Because people don't really care what your fund looks like from day to day. Most people who invest in ETFs or retirement funds and mutual funds and all that kind of stuff, they're just looking at 401ks, all that kind of stuff. They're looking at the end of they get a report every quarter. So when you get your report at the end of the quarter, if it looks good, it really doesn't matter if during the quarter it was went crazy or what it did. You just care about the number at the end of the quarter. So you could see some window dressing, you could see some people dumping stuff for the end of the quarter, but usually end of the quarters usually are pretty good. And then I think Thursday could actually be a really good update in the market, just because it's a new quarter. As long as nothing goes up and it changes things. And like I said, most people, seems like the markets always do good before holidays. I think people are just in good moods, and it's different because you have to remember back in the day. When you actually had market makers who were physically in a market or at places, it was like a whole different thing. Now it's all automated, a lot of computers, or people are doing it from their houses. I don't even know if the Chicago Option Exchange, exists anymore for option trading. But you have to remember, like when we're trading all these back in the day, you'd call your broker would have to call the Chicago, Board of Options. Some guy on the floor is screaming and yelling, hey, whatever their hand signals were. It was a whole process. If you've ever seen those pictures, now it's all computerized, so it's a little different with the holidays. But the holidays used to be a really, really big thing. So I think there's some good opportunity. I like CCIV a lot still. I was a little worried about it, with the dip and stuff, but now with the nice bounce back, I like it. It looks good. I'm hoping tomorrow. So basically, let me just go over what we're looking at for tomorrow. Also, guys, how do you like the new studio? Hopefully I sound better. We still have to make a few sound adjustments, but hopefully I look better, sound better, and it's a nice, better picture and everything. You guys are enjoying it. So I have to make a few adjustments for tomorrow. Not a few. This is what we're hoping for tomorrow. So if CCIV stays above $24, we have $43,000 that will expire worthless. Right now, CCIV is at, I think it closed right a little below, or closed right at 24. So after hours, it's up a little. So hopefully this can hold and it closes worthless. I'm going to write more CCIV for next week because I like the premiums and I think it's still got, I think it's got a lot of support in this level. I love it at this price, 23, 24. So, 43,000 there, and then as long as GameStop is above 140 or 135 and 125, we'll pick up an additional 51, 66, and 42, so basically 150. So all these positions tomorrow, if everything works out, we have $200,000. I can tell you this. Even if GameStop tomorrow goes up 50 points, the 100s for next Friday or for next Thursday, April 1st, are not going to go to $1. So as long as this all works out, ideally, if GameStop was to come down 30 or 40 points, this would all expire worthless. We'd keep this 200, and these may actually go back up $1 or $2. We could have a really big day tomorrow. We could have a $300,000-$400,000 up day and really finish the week out terrific. So that's what I'm looking at. That's how I kind of figure out what I'm doing, and hopefully that's all making sense to you guys. Justin, $5 super chat. Appreciate the learning opportunity, Raja. How much would you be down without the hedges? How much did they help? So the hedges helped tremendously. Without the hedges, plain and simple right now, on this position, I'd be down $1.4 million. I've sold over $1.4 million in hedges. So, and honestly, this is what makes me, you never know, and you have to be very, very careful. Yesterday, like I said, I looked like a hero because I closed some of those hedges and then we wrote those 85s. In hindsight, if we would have just left everything how it was, we would have been down yesterday. Where we were up yesterday, we probably would have been down yesterday like 500 grand from the hedges. But today, those hedges would have been huge because we had, remember, those 120s. Right now, they're 81 cents right here. We had, those were $9 yesterday. So we would have been up massive. I mean, if I would have just at the end of the day said, sell I thought about selling the 100s because that would have matched up. But I was like, if this thing tanks 20 or 30 more points, which fundamentally it should have, just luckily enough, the, Wall Street bet people and, came together and got it to go again. This thing's going to come down. It's not going to go to $800. It has a much better chance to go to 50. Normally, like when you're in the marketplace, you want to buy low and sell high. With this stock, it's buy high and hope. I mean, there's no fundamentals and it doesn't make any sense, but it's definitely a good learning opportunity. And like I said, that's why you do the hedges. So I find it amusing when some of these people come in and say, we told you so, or this or that. It's still, and it's not even, it's two things. One is not over. So tomorrow we could pick up all that money. It could drop. We could close it out. We may have a nice profit, or, it could be flat for tomorrow. Two, we could wait out those contracts. Let's say it closes above 140. Those all expire worthless. And I have, 1,100 contracts that are only $1 or $2. I could just wait for next week. I can also, even next week, I can hedge higher. So if we think I could take the 100s, let them expire worthless at $2, and I could say, you know what, I'll sell the 120s for $5 and still pick up $300,000-$400,000 on the play next week. So there's all sorts ways to play it and stuff. Definitely all sorts of different ways to play it. Kristen says, $5 super chat, can you speak on Riot blockchains? Blockchains are huge right now. on Riot in particular. What was it? What did that do today? So, a 6-month chart. So, I think Riot's come up a lot. I think, these are going to trade with how, some of the, the cryptos and stuff are trading. Me personally, on a lot of this, I think the whole crypto market is way overvalued. I think we just saw the other day, because of the NFTs, we saw some stocks run, and and with the cryptos and stuff. I think the crypto market's way overvalued. This thing today it was as low as $50,000. It's still down from the day, from its highs. It's come back a little. This was $62,000. It's down 10 grand. Yes, it's above $5 where it was 5 years ago, but it's still. It came down it came down 18%. These get very, very tricky and stuff. You got to be very careful with these and stuff. But it's tough to say. With all these blockchains and different things. I personally don't like stocks at their peak unless I know there's some really big news coming on it. This, like I said, yesterday or something, we saw the $300 million in new funding and stuff like that. But the thing is, that news is out. So if the news is out and all the stock did today is go up and hit $48, it's still way below its peak. And you have to remember, this thing was 76 cents. So it's come a long way from where it was. And those are tough. When you have, it's like I said, a stock that's 75 cents has a much better opportunity to get to $10, and you can make a lot of money. A stock that's $10 doesn't have as much opportunity to go to 100. A stock that's 48, can it go back to $79 high? Of course it can, but I think it's going to take a lot more to move it. And like I said, the other interesting thing that I watch is, watch Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, and some of those, what those are doing in the marketplace. So it's crazy. Also, guys, I don't know if you guys saw today, all this testimony on Capitol Hill. I'm curious what everybody thinks about that. Outside of the fact they wanted to know who terminated Trump's account. That seemed to be the big thing. If Jack Dorsey of Twitter made that final decision, it's also interesting. And some of the questions, I wish that Twitter and Facebook and Google could ask Capitol Hill a couple of questions, because one question I would ask, while Capitol Hill doesn't like him today, I'd say, Capitol Hill, how much money did you guys spend on your election? How much money did you spend on Facebook, Twitter, Google, all these social media companies? How much money did the Democrats, did the Republicans spend to get elected? How much money did they give all these companies that they're all trying to bash today? I can't even imagine that $100 million plus figure. They gave them a ton of money, maybe more than that. It's insane the amount of money. This is one of these things where if today it satisfies you, tomorrow it doesn't. There's no way to stop, and censor all this stuff. The other interesting thing, which I thought was really interesting, and this isn't a political thing, but they shut Trump's account down. They want to blame Trump and say that he caused the riot, and we're not here to have a debate about that. But they shut his account down. But then the guy said today, and this was very interesting, and unfortunately 4 people lost their lives in the riot. Which, like I said, nobody should ever lose their life in anything. And this isn't a political debate. But the guy said, the supreme leader of Iran, why haven't you shut his Twitter account down? Hundreds of Americans have died because of him. Probably thousands of Iranians and is it Hezbollah? I'm not even sure the exact names over there, but I'm saying it was kind of interesting. Why, they're making such a big deal about Trump and his account, but you have all these in China and all these other countries. These people are using Twitter. And truly, thousands and thousands of people have actually died because of it, and nothing gets done because the American, obviously Congress doesn't care what Iran does. But it's very interesting. And it's also interesting. You have freedom of speech, this stuff with fake news. It's Congress, like I said, does Congress like it because they were happy, like I said, they were happy to spend their $100 million and get elected and win, and Biden won. Biden spent money. His election committee spent money on Facebook and Twitter and Google. But but when somebody puts on news on there that a sex allegation against a congressperson or something like that, now they hate it. It's fake news. It doesn't work correctly. So it's very, very interesting how they look at stuff. Like I said, what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. You have to look at it both directions. Timbo, $5 super chat. I have a stock that's ready to split. Should I sell? Well, Tim, what is the symbol? A couple of things. If the stock, so a couple of things. Remember, Apple split. When it split, it was like 125. It got as high as 144, 148. I don't know, somewhere there. And now it's all the way back down to 120. Tesla split or announced, and when they announced their splits, they ran tremendously. When Apple announced the split, I think it was around $380. It ran all the way to 500 pre-split. Tesla, I think when they announced the split, it was like 700 or 800. It ran to $2,500 and split at like 500 and ran to 880 or 890, whatever it was, and it's come back down now. Depending on the company, the market conditions, momentum, the stock splits are usually a positive. I did read an article a long time ago, and I think it is pretty true. 8 out of 10 companies that have stock splits usually do run. Within 2 weeks, they are less than the stock split price. So buy on the news, or buy on the rumor, sell on the news, or when the news is out. So I would definitely be looking to sell your stock the day it splits, if it's up or somewhere in there. So, all right. We got Jeff Schwartz in the house. When anyone speaks on the Hill about the markets go down every time. Can they just shut up? Nicely said. So it is true. I don't know how many more days Yellen and Powell can keep speaking on the markets. We know about inflation. We know everything going on. What's really going to happen? Renslot says, freedom of speech, right or wrong, only believe in what you believe in. Don't believe everything you read or hear. And that's how I am. It's very interesting. And I was discussing with somebody earlier today, it's like gun control. I don't have an opinion for or against guns. But obviously after two large shootings in our country, guns have become a big thing. And I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about, like, my kids are almost 18 or 18, or let's say you're 21. Let's say you're 85 years old in life, and you've had this horrible criminal records, and you've had all these problems, and you have all these things. So we do a background check on an 85-year-old guy who, or I don't know, maybe had he had one bad thing he did when he was 25, 60 years ago. He got a felony because he stole 100. Now I think a felony it's like $400, but I don't know. He stole $500 worth of something when he was 60 years ago when he was 25. So this guy wants a gun to protect himself. We're not going to give him. They're not going to allow him to buy a gun because of the background checks are different things. But and I honestly don't even know if it's 18 or 21 for a gun. But let's say it's 21. So every single kid, the day they turn 21, before they've done anything wrong in life, basically could go buy a gun and there would be nothing there. So it's interesting, all this, debate about this stuff. And like I said, I don't have an opinion either way. Unfortunately, my kid's mom, took her life using a gun. But like I said, it wasn't a machine gun. It wasn't an AK 15, 25, whatever it is. Would she have done it if she didn't have a gun? Would she have done it a different way? I don't know. I don't blame. The gun obviously helped her and made it easier for her than if she took, sleeping pills or, cut herself or hung herself. But I don't blame the guns, and I don't expect them to end the world for guns. Obviously, if tomorrow, or if my kids would have been in King Soopers, the other day, and got shot with a gun, I would probably have a little bit different stance on gun control right now. But I'm also a realistic person. You can't, there's already so much of this stuff out there. First of all, even with the checks and everything, if somebody wants a gun, they're going to find out how to get a gun. They'll figure it out. Two, there's already so many out there too. So it's like changing some of this stuff really isn't going to make a huge difference. It needed to be changed a long time ago. But it's going to be very interesting, all this stuff. And what's really more unfortunate about all this is what Capitol Hill is going to waste all this time on, instead of getting our economy 100% going, getting everything else taken care of that it needs to focus on. So I'm curious. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But it's going to be very, very interested how everything goes. With all this stuff. And like I said, I just think with the freedom of speech and with some of these things and these social media platforms, we should have no more social media. Why aren't they, complaining about Clubhouse? Because I could go live on Clubhouse, have 1,000 people watching me, and at the end of the day, if I say fake news, it's already out there. There's nothing to censor. These companies, there is no way to censor all that. Some people have said maybe Facebook's a really good short right now because if this doesn't go well on Capitol Hill, it's going to be definitely different stuff. So Take some more comments here. Jerome, I think I'm not interested in hearing Pal say the same stuff over and over again for sure. I know it's getting so old, and like we already know, there's nothing new. He doesn't have anything new to do. There is no new news, and it's just getting very, very old. You're very correct on that one. So, also, guys, just a reminder, big shout out to all our YouTube sponsors who stand out in the chat and also have access to the really cool emojis. Thank you for the support of Raja Makes Money. That helps to take care of my crew and stuff. Not my trading habits and gambling habits, no. But also, and big welcome to all our Patreon members. You guys have all of Kenny's picks and the research team. He posts all those in the private Facebook group. So if you are a Patreon member, it's patreon.com/Raja Makes Money. And I post all my trades in real time on the Patreon app itself. So you guys get that instantly, whatever I'm trading. Then Kenny and the research team, they're posting all their stuff in the private Facebook group that they see. And you guys can ask Kenny and the research team any questions you want. So definitely a great opportunity for you guys. So Jeff says, your studio looks great, Raja. Thank you. Hopefully I sound better too. We still have to dial it in. The guy's coming Monday to finish with the audio, but I didn't want to waste any more time getting this thing live and looking good for you guys, sounding better and stuff. So definitely want to get it all going and stuff. Living the life to the fullest. Matthew says, money is a tool, so is a gun. So, what else you guys got? Let's see here. Stocks. Rem slots. Guns are not people. Guns are not people will hurt other people in other ways. 0.01% are bad people. Yeah, definitely doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm not having a debate either way. I'm just throwing some stuff out there because you know what? This is a podcast, a talk show, and we gotta have stuff to talk about. So, but in other news, let's see how the markets are doing into tomorrow. Let's see if the futures are looking. What do we got for tomorrow? The Dow futures are up 2 points and the NASDAQ down 2 points. So looking flat right now. Like I said, I'm not expecting a lot. I told you the market was going to sell off, which it did today. And then it did have a rally back, which was shocking. So it'll definitely be interesting and stuff. But it'll be interesting what this does tomorrow and the markets and stuff. So just to recap where we are, these are our hedges for tomorrow. So we have about 200,000. Well, this is a play 43. We have about 150 grand more in hedges. If Gamestop comes down a little bit, it's going to be a terrific day for us, as long as it doesn't go below 140. If Gamestop runs tomorrow, I may, roll up some more of these. I may roll these 125s to 140s for an extra 50 cents, and we'll pick up an extra 50 grand, 60 grand, who knows. So lots of different stuff that we can do there. So we'll be watching all of that as well, what we play. So definitely looking at that. Let's do some more questions here. What was up with the pre-markets this morning? Yeah, everything was down heavily. It was a little scary. I was like, oh, CCIV again got us. But I knew that has a lot of support at 21. I said at 2021. I think the stocks were at 24 to, I said 24 to 26. right, guys. Sorry about that. We're back. We have I don't know, this happened to me one other time with this camera. For some reason, the battery just went out on it. Not sure why, but it's fixed and we are back going again. So, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Happens to the best of us. How do we know it's the real Raja? We see you, Raja. It's me. I'm back. So, Joreen says, so what do you think about Neo right now, Raja? We talked about this one yesterday again and stuff too. It's probably up today. I think it was around like $37 yesterday. We talked about this one. So Neo, $38, so up a little bit today. This one's been a lot higher. It's also been a lot lower. I think if some of these go, that they'll definitely go and do well. I have a big position in IDEX. I like IDEX. I think it has some good potential. I've thought about even buying more of it at these levels to try and average down a little bit or sell more calls. Like I said, I don't want to sell the calls right now because unless I sold the 300s, those are around 30 cents. I wanted to do like the 350s again. They're around 18 cents. I was hoping, if the thing was 320, 330, you could get about 40 cents out of them. It would definitely be a bigger play. So definitely something to look at. Jeffrey says, whoops. By chance, Raja, did you see my comment on CDXC from last video? I talked about the earnings and wanted to know what your opinion is. I am bullish on the stock. Yes, I did read those. All right. This is another one. It's way off its highs, and it's also way above where it's been. Looks, I think you said it's still losing a little bit of money, but it's improving and stuff. Without knowing, and what you said, I mean, this is one where if you believe in the company, you like the fundamentals, you like what they're doing, I think you got to go with your gut on this one. These are tough. Like I said, at $3, I love the stock. It goes to $9. It's look what it tripled. At $9 going to 23 is gonna it's just tough. But based on this chart of it and where it's been and this 6-month chart and stuff, I think that it has more potential to actually come down a little bit than go up. That's my personal opinion on it. Like I said, if you like the company, do what you think is best with it and stuff. So, Jordan, is it time to buy the Duckhorn portfolio? Napa back down to 1747, sold last round at 20. I'm familiar with the Duckhorn portfolio. But if it's, let's see here, 1 year, looks like it's just started. I have no idea about this one. So, closing a public offering, a full exercise of the underwriter's option to purchase additional shares. Being offer. Wine. Maybe that's right. Okay, don't go for a wine. I don't know. I would tell you if you made money on it and it's coming down, why is it coming down? Wine sales are definitely going up. There's new taxes against France. For like I don't think it's going to affect the wine and champagne, but it affects like Hennessy and Grey Goose and vodkas and stuff like that. So it's definitely going to be interesting what happens there. But my personal opinion would be until there's some earnings out and until there's some stuff, I don't know. And if the wine portfolio is worth $2 billion, that seems pretty pricey to me. So hard to say on that one. But guys, I do have some good news for you. This is how we wound up for the day. Unfortunately, down $242,000. My hedges paid off really well. So tomorrow will be interesting. These are the 4 things that we're really watching closely because this equates to 200,000. The 100 calls are worth $3. If the stock goes up, these will probably come down to about $2. So we can end the day about $100,000 up if everything works out. If Gamestop comes down 20 or 30 points tomorrow, we could be up for 500,000. It'll be a terrific day. So lots of stuff going on, but hopefully everything works out. You never know until it's over with. Hope you guys enjoy the new studio. If you haven't subscribed to me yet on YouTube, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and subscribe. I'm right here, and click that gray bell so you get our notifications. Or if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you follow me and click the like button to get our notifications. Big shout out to Kenny and the research team. Always remember what Kenny says. He loves the dips. And, dips are good at times on the right stocks, or when something runs real quick, pulls back, runs real quick, pulls back. They're like, even on GameStop running today, there's a lot of dips. Ran up, pulled back, ran up, pulled back, ran up, pulled back, and then ran, and then pulled back. Even when it hit, 177, it came back to 162, then it ran more. And there's always dips, but you never know when something does bottom out, and before you know it, just like today, it went to $348 and closed at 200, and got as low as 170. So a lot of these guys, just be careful, know what you're doing. And hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. Raja Makes Money. You guys are the money makers. Hope you enjoy the new studio. Tell your friends, tell everyone about us. The more, the merrier. And thank you guys. And I'll see everyone tomorrow after the market closes. Let's see how we finish up this week. Can we pull out a win? Take care. Good luck tomorrow.